On the 10th night of Frostfall, in the 417th year of the Third Era, the crags around North Point were especially stormy. High Rock trembled as the dragon broke. In the night, among many unknowable sounds, could be heard the wails of Lady de Novembre. When finally her cries made way for those of her newborn son, there were few kingdoms in place of many. It was this new land to which Roderick was born under the stars of the Atronach. The circumstances of his birth seemed foreboding to some, but he proved to be of fair temperament, taking well to his studies, both mystic and material. Court life was agreeable in most every way, being the third son of a now sworn vassal. That is, until his time of betrothal arrived. Establishing and reinforcing relationships with other houses is the sacred duty of the nobility, much to his dismay. So when it came time for his ascension to minor court decor, he opted rather to test his fortune in the imperial province. So, with the reluctant and resentful agreement of his lord father, Roderick set off with the promise to gain their house great fortune and renown in the heartland of the empire. Cyrodiil. Okay, that's probably long enough. Hi, so my name is Magic Canadian, and I'm going to be playing Oblivion on YouTube. Yeah. Okay, so this is obviously... Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, oh, shit. Okay, maybe not obviously, but this is the first video that I will be uploading to my YouTube channel. And so I should probably do a little talk about what the fuck it is. Okay. So this is going to be a playthrough that is very much inspired by those that are done by Sorcerer Dave on his channel, previously known as Jingles, which is just really funny. It has been like literally, I think, a decade since he renamed his channel, but I still just find it funny to think Jingles. And basically what that means is that in this playthrough of Oblivion, I am going to be like sort of role-playing it. Like I'm not going to be doing particularly first-person role-playing, I don't think. But I will be giving insight into Roderick, our character, into Roderick's thoughts and his opinions on things, and then I will only really be progressing in a way that would make sense for him at the time. If you'd like to see a really good example of that, you can just check out one of his. He has one going now that he hasn't uploaded to in a long time. But that one's a really good one, as a good example. And before that, he did a really entertaining one for a character named Arthur, where he just made that entire playthrough. Is just like, I don't even know. I think he did finish the Thieves Guild, but he just kind of ran around from city to city and just made the story up, and it was honestly really awesome. So that would be the sort of thing that inspired me to do this. Although I guess really if you go back, then before Sorcerer Dave, there was Variax, who I watched, I think I watched quite a bit of his series back in the day, but that was like in 2012. So that's a long time ago, and I honestly don't remember the most details. I remember he had an odd resolution.
How are you?
Oh,
not bad.
Good.
Herwin was sparring with
yeah, I remember it had an odd resolution. So that was a really good series as well. Might be a little bit more difficult to go back and watch that one just because of the amount of time that's passed. In particular with recording quality now is just kind of way higher, like on standards, than it was at the time, which is not any fault of Variax, just time. And also, there was another one by Squee 913, maybe? I can't remember. Sorcerer Dave referenced him in the start of his first Oblivion one. And that one, I did watch that one, it was very entertaining. It is also very old, though. Yeah, so if you're unaware of any of those things, then basically it just means that it's a semi-roleplay Let's Play, where the character has to be sort of believable. And that basically means that I'm not going to be using out-of-game knowledge. But like, I know a lot about the game. It's my favorite game from like growing up. So I'm not going to use any of that. Well, that's not true. I am going to use it to try and push the narrative in certain directions. But I'm not going to be using it to sort of like just get cool equipment and stuff like that for the character. Yeah. So Roderick. Roderick, as you maybe, I don't know, maybe you could glean a bit of information from that little intro cutscene that I put together, but there's probably not too much to be gleaned really, because I kind of wanted to keep it brief, but still engaging. But basically, he is 16 years old, which I don't expect anyone to get that from the intro, because yeah, it gives his birth year, but I don't know, just keeping all that information in mind while watching a minute intro wouldn't really be something that I would expect people to do. But yeah, so he's very young, he's a little bit naive, and he basically wanted to shirk his like duties as a noble in High Rock, which is you aren't going to be able to see it, but it's like past Hammerfell up here. And he just wanted to kind of fuck around and explore. And so he decided to do it in Cyrodiil, particularly because he is sort of interested in the Aelids. Like especially the just like the concept of this massive empire which spanned like the heartland of the empire, like the Imperial Province, and just had like kind of like the most developed society, not technologically, but it seems like territory-wise of the time. And a lot of that, from what he knows and from what he's heard from people who travel between the provinces, seems to be relatively intact and just kind of waiting for someone to find whatever lies lurking in the deep ruins of the Aelids. So he figured he would come down here. He's not on the best terms with his family anymore because of that, but he was honestly just like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna leave. It's not gonna matter if I have a good relationship with my father after this, or at the very least he thinks, fuck it, he's gonna love me anyway. And eventually, I imagine his father probably thinks, well, you know, he's gonna get a little bit tired of whatever he's doing down there and return back home. So he's thinking, yeah, I mean, I can probably just get away with it, and then when I get back it'll be okay. Yeah. So yeah, probably ready to start. I guess if you have any questions, you can just ask them in the comments. I'm not really familiar with this whole process, so we'll figure it out. Yeah. So I am using a mod to change the beginning. You would think, if you're aware of other people playing this game, you'd think that it is alternate start, arrive by ship, because I just landed in an anvil as if I got off of a ship, but it was not. I used the mod Alternative Beginnings by Arthmore, and that has an option to arrive by ship. It also has a lot of other really cool options, like being a member of a guild, or owning a house, or just abandoned in the wild. I decided to use this one because, honestly, I've been kind of thinking about this specific Let's Play idea for like 10 years, basically, since I was a child watching Sorcerer Dave's Let's Play, and I was like, ooh, I could do that. Except I was like a child, so I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. And thankfully I didn't at the time. Maybe thankfully. It's hard to say if it's really thankfully. But yeah, so I sort of had that knocking around in the noggin for a while. And then I basically wanted to use the most up-to-date, I guess, mods when I was setting up the playthrough, just because this game can be extremely crash-prone. And I think maybe a large part of that was just the fact that you would be using plugins, like mods, from such a large range of years, and I don't think that they would particularly play well together. I'm not saying that alternate start arrive by ship is one of those. I'm just saying that I think it's cool to use the newer mod, particularly if I wanted to do like a separate story at the same time. Although in that case I would probably just do it a separate install, because I did use Mod Organizer 2 to install this version of Modded Oblivion, which means that I can do profiles, which is pretty wicked. Something that you couldn't do before. With the de facto best mod manager was Rybash, which you still have to use because it has an incredibly handy feature where certain plugins just have like very like minor changes, and so those can be incorporated into what's called a bashed patch. Just like you could disable some of them entirely and they would still take effect in the game because it was incorporated into the bash patch, which would just activate at the end of your load order. On that topic, actually, the game is heavily modded. I have a lot of mods installed. I guess the main ones would be Better Cities, which we're in right now, Unique Landscapes, which you can see over there, partly. And for the magic system, I have Avlata Magica, which, when any cool things happen that are related to that, I'll bring it up. Basically, anytime I run into something in the game that was added by a mod, I'll try and mention which mod adds it. Just because I am also kind of curious. Because also, oh yeah, I almost forgot, I have two mods. One of them is called Better Dungeons, which kind of like significantly overhauls, I think, almost every cave in the game. So that's interesting, and I'm not sure if that one is themed, but the other mod that I have downloaded, which is, oh sorry, I knocked the microphone, which is Snooze Dungeons, actually sort of like groups the map into like different regions, different biomes, and then the caves are like themed regarding to that. So like the ones in like Hammerfell adjacent are like very like sandy and dry. I think that's actually the descriptor on the mod page. That one, I'll probably put a link to the mod guide by dispensation on the Nexus, but that mod is not actually included in that. So probably have to make a Google sheet with a list of a couple, because there's a couple other mods as well that I don't think they're included in the guide by dispensation. So I'll try and put that together. I might only put it together if people are interested, honestly, because it's kind of, I don't know, it seems like a lot of, maybe it's not a lot of work. Maybe I'll have free time over Christmas to just do it, because that would be interesting. Yes. So, Roderick.
Hello.
Hello. Roderick has arrived here in Anvil. He has a little get up. Oh, hang on a second. Sorry, those were the actual things that the mod started me with. That I was just checking, I didn't have a bounty for opening that container. Those are the actual things that the mod started me with. But I kind of wanted to just have something different. Particularly because the Russet felt outfit just looks awful. It just looks so bad. And I find this one looks pretty good. So I wanted to start with that, and it's not game breaking, it's only worth 2 gold. And the steel short sword instead of a fine steel short sword, just because of nostalgia value for me. This sword is just so fucking cool looking. I love it. This sword you can get in the like when you just do the vanilla start.
Good morning.
And you go through like the sewers, and you get rescued by the Emperor escaping his potential assassination, which succeeds. This is the sword you can find in the Imperial Undercroft, or whatever the area is called. It's been a long time since I did the vanilla start. But yeah, I just remember being like captivated, because everything else is just like shitty fucking, it's like, ugh, old iron. And then it's like steel short sword, and I'm like, oh, nice. And my child brain didn't understand that you had to sleep to level up. So like for, I don't even know how many hours on my PlayStation 3 version of the game, I just didn't level up. So that steel short sword was just like fucking a banger. It was great. I loved it. Went through the whole arena. Didn't level up. But I had a cool looking sword. The textures look really nice. Mainly because of there used to be a highly recommended mod called Quarrel's Texture Pack, which just like retextured everything to be higher detail, but also sort of had a big art style change, which I personally like. I liked it for one playthrough, and then after that I just really wanted the nostalgia hit of the Oblivion textures, because they're just actually really nice and they kind of fit the tone of the game well. So now you can just use a mod called Oblivion Upscaled Textures, which is very recent, because through the power of AI, you can now just basically run the texture through a computer, and it adds a significant amount of detail, particularly for the clothing. I notice it. It looks very nice. And then on top of that, I use really textured normal maps updated, which just basically adds, like a normal map is basically just a bump map for a texture. so that it's not just like a smooth surface.
Hello.
It has bumps, and it's textured. Yeah, it works especially well on the wood, I find. Although the chests aren't from that. The chests are from a separate mod, which you can find in the complete modding guide by dispensation. I don't think it'll say. No, it won't say the mod. Sorry, this is a mod called Form ID Finder, where you can click on something to see what adds it, which is really useful. You can see this barrel was added by better cities. So that wasn't there by default.
Good day.
Yes. Music. I've added... My athletics increased from just fucking running around here talking, but it's really low, so it's going to happen a lot. I've added music, which is something that I didn't know you could do until I actually watched that one from Sorcerer Dave, where he's like, hey, you just fucking drop the file in there, and it just works.
Fine.
I guess I couldn't have done it on the PlayStation 3, which I was playing at the time. But yeah, so I've added some music. I don't even remember where a lot of it's from. A lot of it was just from, like, you can just find music add-on packs on the Nexus, like on Nexus mods. Those ones are usually really good. They were particularly themed for the game, like someone already decided, and then I just kind of went through and picked out a few of the odd choice ones, in my opinion. That should be pretty nice. I also added a few from just like a couple of games that I also played around the time that I played Oblivion, like Fable and Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. It's a fun game, depending on your tastes. Yeah, so you're going to be hearing a lot of different soundtracks, and honestly, I'm not going to be very helpful for a lot of them, aside from Fable and Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I know some of them are from another thing that I heard from Sorcerer Dave, was like, there was an attempt one time to recreate Daggerfall, and they did end up remastering the music. I don't think they ever got to a complete state of Daggerfall. But they did remaster the music, so it was like actually very high fidelity, and a lot of those tracks actually work very well in Oblivion. So I have those in, and also a couple of like, I think they're just pre-use Celestial Aeon Project songs, which is like seems to be like this group of composers working to create free access fantasy themed music and sci-fi themed music and stuff.
Heard any news?
Oh, the frame rate's gonna be bad sometimes. I already know it. That's okay. Yes. So, back to the story, maybe. Yeah, so Roderick has landed here in Anvil, and he's aware of, like, a lot of things that are going on in Cyrodiil, like, particularly when you start the game, they sort of present things as if they were new, like the fact that to access the Arcane University, you need to get a recommendation from each guild hall across Cyrodiil. So he knows that. He's not like in for a shock or anything. He's aware. That's why, particularly one of the reasons why he came into Anvil, because just looking at the map, it's like sort of a prime spot to just like go in east around here, probably drop into the Imperial City, and then just continue in a loop around the entire province. This is going to be a hell of a long walk through here before you get to Leowin. I guess you could go down to Breville first. Probably broad stroke would be just a clockwise circle around the province to then come back up to the Arcane University, which would be a major goal of his right now, just because there's like the prospect of the amount of knowledge and power that's been not really hoarded, but that's been collected at the Arcane University is quite enticing and very appealing. That would be a large goal. Also, just making money would be a big goal. He didn't exactly make out like a bandit from his family, because obviously, you know, his dad was a little mad. He was like, sure, you can have a little bag of gems. And he has 300 septims, 300 gold right now, which I think was just default. So yeah, we're pretty broke. Got a couple potions and a skill short sword. No armor, but I'm a mage, playing like sort of yeah, I'll go over the major skills. We have Blade, Block, Alchemy, Alteration, Destruction, Mysticism, and Mercantile. So we're kind of going for like a spell sword sort of thing. No armor is a major skill, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit one. I'm probably going to wear robes, honestly, quite a bit of it. particularly with nicer textures and models. And Mercantile, just because I thought it would be fun to have sort of a Breton character from like a just weirdly classic fantasy setting with a bunch of kingdoms who's just like, yeah, I'm just financially aware. I just know what money's worth and I know how to make it well. Yes. So yeah, he's quite mercantile sensed, mercantile literate, which will be a bit of a theme. I think it would be cool to try and incorporate some aspects of like sort of actual economics into his character and his motivations. Because anyway, like either way in this game, you eventually just become rich. So you may as well do it in the sense that it actually makes sense for the character. Mysticism is just like sort of like the mystic arts. He's just particularly interested in the sort of less obvious aspects of magic and like the sort of obscure, lost to time, only known by the Sijiks sort of magic. Destruction, just because it's incredibly useful, and I imagine that growing up as a noble, even like a low noble, would mean that you would be trained pretty well by your tutors in like sort of aspects of combat and just like history. Alteration, also just useful for combat, and I imagine you'd be trained pretty well in it because it's just incredibly useful. Like thinking about it, if you were alive in this world and you didn't know a bit of alteration, you're just like basically gimped, you're just handicapped. Alchemy, also just really useful, particularly in Oblivion, really any Elder Scrolls game, just incredibly useful. So if you don't major in it, it's a cool handicap if you don't, but it is just so important, especially where I did briefly mention it in that intro, but we're playing under the sign of the Atronach, which means that our magicka does not regenerate. So magicka potions are going to be in hot demand. Like they're really, really important, especially since I don't know how many Welcome Stones I'm gonna find. I'm gonna have to save quite a few of them for a later mod. Block and blade are just kind of like the basic, like yes, I was trained by a dude. I know how to block. Yeah, so we're going to be using spells quite a bit, and access to the Arcane University would help significantly with regards to gaining more spells, particularly useful spells, and making our own, which I don't know how that really works in the lore, honestly. Like, I imagine there are some like rogue wizards and unaffiliated wizards and stuff who can make their own spells, but if you're just kind of like a dude, I imagine you need the help of the Mages Guild, which is now locked behind the Arcane University gates. He probably knows that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll be collecting alchemy ingredients. Which, that's actually... So I used to play with Ascura's Oblivion Overhaul. It was a really cool mod, because it just kind of like incorporates many like minor but really immersion enhancing mods. But now I don't know, I just find it honestly like the more I would play with it, the more I was just like, this mod is just adding frustration. And I wasn't sure, well actually that's not true, I was sure that it would be worth it to use it for the immersion enhancement. But then I just found that a lot of the mods that are incorporated into Ascura's Oblivion Overhaul are still available, like individually. So I just started doing that, and Harvest Flora is the mod where like when you collect an ingredient, the model for the plant changes, is one of those mods that was included with Ascura's Oblivion Overhaul. And I have now gone out of my way to include it separately, just because it's just so cool, honestly. I just love it. It's just wild. It's such a small change, but it's really nice. Yes.
How goes it?
Good to see you.
It is good. We've arrived. We're in Cyrodiil, in Anvil. And I imagine the first thing that we would like to do is introduce ourselves to the Mages Guild. There's also a loading screen mod, which I'll probably have to link in a Google Doc, because I don't think that it was included in the guide. I don't think that Morning Glory is particularly useful. Well, I'll probably keep a couple. Just because, I don't know, it might become useful later. Like, as your, if you're not aware, as your alchemy skill increases in this game, your known effects increase as well. This is really cool, though. This, like, thankfully, I don't actually remember what year, even, or date it was updated, but Better Cities got a huge update, like, since the last time I downloaded it, which would probably be in, like, 2018, so I don't know if it was recent to that, or, like, more recent to now, but it is awesome. Like, they really improved a lot of aspects of it, particularly performance-wise, where, like, when I used older versions, even on this exact same, like, I'm on a laptop, even on this exact same gaming laptop, game would just suffer. Like, you'd, like, load into a space, especially up around Skingrad. It's like a little village. Oh my god, it was killer. Game was just not having it. And I think that also probably contributed to Oblivion being a very crash-heavy game. This dude is so fucking sunburned. Holy shit. Look at him. You gotta get some sunscreen, dude, or, like, roll down those sleeves, I guess, really. Grow some hair. But now, they seem to have taken performance into account significantly and just, like, drastically reduced the amount of plants and stuff like that to just significantly improve performance. And it's also just so fucking cool looking now. I was really impressed when I went through a couple of the cities just, like, testing this installation. And it's like, it was cool before. Before it was like a damn, this like significantly changes playing the game. But now it's just like, holy shit, this looks like out of this world. Like, these, like, carts and everything are just entirely from Better Cities, which is really cool. These guys are also actually merchants, I think. I just don't think that they
make it quick.
Particularly have much of
Only
value.
quality goods for sale here. What can I interest you in?
Ingredients. Food, which is ingredients. Sorry, this is... My menu's really cluttered because I actually also have a mod that just makes it so that you can do the, like, you know how NPCs walk up and they'll have those funny conversations? They're just like spouting words at each other. You can actually get them to say those to you now, which is...
Enough talk.
I think it'll be fun at some points to just listen to an NPC rabble on. Oh, you know, just as I was saying, the performance is much better. Game is just fucking tanking. I don't know if it's really game's fault or my laptop's fault. It's probably the laptop's fault because it just gets so fucking hot. Laptop overheats very easily playing anything. It's starting to show its age.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, the guards. Their armor is not part of Better Cities. That is from local guard features, I think. Guard features, yeah, I think it's called local guard features, which is really cool and honestly does a like really good job of making it so that the guards in the towns have very distinct armor. Unfortunately, it doesn't apply to, I don't know, Better Cities, whatever this guy's from. Let me see. Yeah, Better Cities. So unfortunately, it doesn't apply to the armor from Better Cities, but that's okay. I think it honestly is kind of cool to have a bit of diversity in the guard armors. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go and introduce ourselves to the Mages Guild.
Go ahead.
First impressions, he's probably like really impressed with where he's arrived now, because the area of High Rock that he is from, which is like sort of the north point, and, well, I guess that describes where it is, it's to the north. It's like very craggy and sort of like not a lot of vegetation. So already, even just down here in Anvil, he's like, holy shit, this place is lush. This is like verdant. Which is funny because this is like the sort of dry area of the map anyway. But yeah, so he's really impressed. I don't think so much that the architecture would be that impressive. I mean, obviously, there was a game in Daggerfall, in High Rock, that was Daggerfall. But I don't know how, like, canonical it would be to the current iteration of Tamriel at Bethesda. maybe the next game is going to be, I think it is probably going to be in High Rock. Seems like it'll be High Rock, Hammerfell, both. So that'll be interesting to actually see what the architecture and stuff is like there, because my impression is that this is probably supposed to be inspired by High Rock, Hammerfell, which I don't know, probably more Hammerfell than High Rock, just because of where we are. So I'm imagining he's probably decently familiar with this sort of architecture. Which you probably won't be familiar with the other architecture, because the architecture between cities in this game is actually pretty diverse, which is really part of why I love it. Okay, we arrived at the Mages Guild. I didn't quick save before that, and I'm a little afraid, but I think it's okay. Look, you can join the Mages Guild by visiting a guild hall. That's good to know.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is a
Guild.
This is a Knight of the Lamp.
Yes?
He's also from a mod called Order of the Lamp, which is apparently in the lore. The Mages Guild does have like a sort of like military branch, and so it just adds guards from that with a little unique armor set, which I find is really interesting. Yes.
Heard any news from the other
Hello.
I can't imagine.
Hello there. Is there something with which I can assist you? Perhaps you're curious about joining the Mages Guild.
Yes, but first, I feel like the first couple of videos of this are just going to be me listing which mods I have installed, because, I don't know, I'm really curious when I watch videos and I'm not sure what something is from. So if you're curious about the animations on her, that is Talk With Your Hands, is available in the Nexus. And then the camera angle is actually not even a mod. I was completely delusional and thought that I had it as a mod in the past. And I was like literally searching the Nexus. I was just like trying different keywords and just scanning back to like 2006 to try and find this mod that I had in the past that made it so it was zoomed out and down lower. And it's not. It's just in the INI. This is just built into the game. You just need to find a couple of lines in the INI. I think it's like focus, like dialogue focus. I'll have to include that. I'm going to have to make a Google sheet with this information, but I'll include which lines of the INI to change, where one of them just changes the zoom level and the other one changes the offset X, because when you zoom out a whole bunch, you're just, like, they're still in the middle of the screen, and then you have a lot of like empty space above. So you can also change the offset so that they're actually reasonably centered still. But I like where it's at right now. Anyway, yeah, let's just talk about Anvil. Let's see, like, I think usually there's one for the Mages Guild. It's a little strange that it's not there. But actually I think it would make more sense to first be like, yes, we are Roderick and we would like to join the Mages Guild.
As long as you're not a wanted criminal, there's a place for you in the guild. Are you interested?
Yes. I want to join the guild. Oh, hi. Oh, shit. Sorry, my cat. There we go. My cat jumped up on the computer, and so I just pulled her over here. It's okay. You're okay. I'm not gonna edit this out. I'm just gonna roll with it, because I think she's probably gonna do this a lot if I'm gonna be recording a lot of Oblivion videos. And she deserves to be here. Okay. No, you don't deserve to be here right now. What's this? Oh shit. Okay, what's this? Oh. What a bitch. I just shot an elastic band and she just didn't go for it. Okay, stay there. She's on my right leg. It's okay. Back to where we were. Yes, I'd like to join the Mages Guild. Oh, it's just that.
All right, then. You're now an associate of the Mages Guild. Congratulations! You'll need to receive a recommendation from each local guild hall in Cyrodiil to advance in the guild and be given any sort of responsibility. They can be done in any order, but they must all be sent in to the council before you can enter the Arcane University.
Okay, yeah, so I think he did know that beforehand. But now it's just sort of like, thinking like, yeah, okay, it's not going to be a big deal. I don't think he quite understands the scale of, like, the breadth of this task. where you have to go across the entire friggin' province. And the cat's climbing in the Christmas tree. So damn cute, though. Yeah, we're just gonna ask her a little bit about the Mages Guild. Like, what do you think of the Mages Guild?
Archmage Traven was right to ban necromancy and place restrictions on the addition of new members to the guild. He's served us well.
Okay, yeah. I don't imagine Roderick is particularly in support of banning necromancy, because I feel like the Bretons as a people probably aren't the most anti-necromancy. He probably doesn't support it in like a criminal way where it's like, oh, you're just like grave robbing. But if you like have a source of bodies and stuff, like same as sort of like medical institutions now, then you probably think, sure, fuck it, it's just magic. Especially since it sort of seems, I guess it would be a little weird to say that it's like mysticism adjacent. It does kind of seem mysticism adjacent. Sorry, I'm gonna take a very cute picture of the cat right now. And honestly, I'm gonna edit it into the video. Spaz. Such a spaz, but so cute. You're just playing with, there's like a twirled long ornament. I think you can hear it. I can hear it. I don't know. Even if you can't hear it, I'm going to put that picture in because she's adorable. Yes. What do you think about Anvil?
The Anvil Mages Guild is proud to follow the example Hannibal Traven sets for us. Mastery and scholarship, free of the dark arts.
I guess the way I phrased that didn't really make sense for what you said, but it's hard to tell in this game. Because, like, I don't know, it's just one word. It doesn't really give you the tone of what you're asking. I thought I was going to ask about Anvil, but it seems like it was more about the Anvil Mages Guild. And I guess maybe the Mages Guild dialogue is about the Mages Guild as a whole. What have you heard around town? Any news?
Half of the Council of Mages resigned when Traven took over the position of Archmage.
Yeah, I thought that would be more Anvil specific. That's okay. Okay, you were saying that you have to do a recommendation to get through here? What does that entail?
Unlike some frivolous tasks you may be given at other guild halls, this is a serious matter and has consequences. Are you prepared?
No. Honestly, no. I don't think that Roderick is prepared for this right now. I think he would just hear this and be like, dude, like, I just got off the boat. I'm kind of tired and hungry. So, no, not yet.
Disappointing. Well, let me know when you're ready.
Wow, what a bitch. that was rude, honestly. Yeah.
I understand Daedra worship has become increasingly prevalent in the Somerset Isle.
Bye.
It seems Somerset Isle has become a much more dangerous place.
Yeah, he's just gonna look around now. Felon
Farewell.
Relish.
I'm Felin Relis of the Mages Guild. I handle alchemy training for the Anvil chapter.
Okay. Good to meet you. Oh, discussing research. See, that was part of the reason why I was interested in this mod. Because I don't think, well, that's not true. I have heard it, because when you're at the Arcane University, they'll talk to each other and discuss research. But now I can actually, like, ask the NPCs for their sort of radiant dialogue. How do you feel about the Mages Guild?
I can't imagine how the average person gets by without our extra services. No spellcrafting and no enchanting? It must be awful.
Yeah, I'm in that boat right now. It is pretty awful. Although I guess if you're not used to it anyway, like, you don't really know the difference. How do you feel about the Anvil Mages Guild?
If you're looking for hard-to-find ingredients, try Lel's Quality Merchandise, outside the walls facing the harbor.
Yeah, that one was just Anvil. Okay. Not going to be able to predict that, I don't think. Any rumors?
Half of the Council of Mages resigned when Traven took over the position of Archmage.
Brutal. Very brutal. Although then later you see that there's only like 3 people on the council. So presumably it was 6 before. I don't know, either way, I'm sure that just represents a certain amount of people. Let's do discussing research inquiry? I don't know what these do, by the way. I'm just gonna find out.
I'm listening. Speak.
I wasn't expecting that.
I won't take up much of your time, but I felt you should know I've had a breakthrough.
Also, by the way, I do have it set so that I need to click for the dialogue to continue, just because I think it's going to be a bit better for when there is unvoiced dialogue lines. Normally what you get is like the ELYS, like Elise, I guess. Silent voices, which just adds an 8-second file when there is none. But I kind of prefer this, because then I have as much time as I like to just read through it and figure out what the fuck is going on in some of these down the line. Oh, that was it.
Yes. It's as I suspected after all. But I wonder, will this affect the destruction discipline as well? Or merely conjuration?
Oh, these aren't going to make any sense, are they?
There are, of course, some other mitigating factors, but I'll need to investigate a bit further. The overall impact on alchemy is a complete unknown.
Cool, okay. I mean, that was kind of relevant. Also, I don't think I can exit out until I go through all of these.
Let us part now, and see what we can come up with separately. We'll meet sometime later, and compare notes.
Yes. Goodbye. I don't know if that's supposed to be unvoiced. It's hard to say. Okay. I mean, that was cool.
What can I interest you in?
Grief. It's probably from Cobble. Yeah, it's from Cobble. I don't know what game that's from. It's from one of the older ones. I haven't played Morrowind either, by the way. I played Oblivion and Skyrim. Scrim. Oh, you can hear her. Sorry, my girlfriend's working and she has the door closed, and the cat feels personally offended and attacked by closed doors. Yes. He buys gems, which is good, because we have these couple gems. And we are buying items at 49%. I think, okay. We need some ingredients anyway for restore health. And restore magicka would be really good. Holy shit, that's expensive. I'm not buying that. I am buying
a fine bargain for you.
I'm buying that. Yeah.
An excellent deal.
Holy fuck, that's... Oh my god. Those are expensive ingredients. I guess they should be. Like, I don't even know what the fuck. Corpus weepings. I think that's from Morrowind. You know that the corpus disease is a thing. Kind of gross, though. Golden poppy blossom. Yeah, a lot of the ingredients were added by Cobble, which is common Oblivion. It's an ancient mod that mainly acts to, at one time I guess it sort of acted like a bashed patch, where it let you use a lot of different mods together and then the resources would be pulled together. And now a couple of mods need it. But it's also actually just really cool. I do find the things it adds are pretty, like, immersive. Especially all of the extra alchemy ingredients, because honestly, I don't think there was enough in vanilla, where you'd have like one option to make a specific potion, which I guess, I don't know, like I guess it would kind of make sense from a lore perspective, but also it just wouldn't, because this is a huge fucking world. And especially we're in the Imperial Province, which is like right in the middle of all the others, so you think that they would have the most resources available. Cat is right next to the computer again. I think she's just getting ready to stomp on it. Really cute though. Yeah, we're not gonna buy that. That's expensive. You see, like, golden poppy blossom? That must be Cobble. Yeah, it's Cobble. And that has chameleon. That's really cool. I don't really remember chameleon potions being a thing that I ever made in the past. Griffin's feather? That's fucking sick. Store health? Yes. Oh, that's a lot of ingredients, yeah. This might be a lot of these videos just scrolling through Lavramar. Lavramar Spines. It looks cool. I just want to... I'm not going to. I was thinking about just getting it just to drop it and see what it looks like. A lodestone? That's expensive. Mage's Bane? It looks like it is from now. Marsh Miro? Yeah. I imagine that when you're like doing trade with an alchemist, they're telling you what the ingredients would be used for, like especially those first two values. Because I'm thinking like it probably wouldn't make a lot of sense for Roderick to know this much about alchemy. It's just like literally a fucking encyclopedic knowledge of the first two effects of every ingredient that he ever encounters. But I imagine that when you're bartering with an alchemist, they're like giving you, especially as an associate of the Mages Guild within a Mages Guild alchemist, I imagine he's giving you a bit of information about like what they can be used for. Which I'm gonna say lets me buy anything, because I think that would be a bit of a harsh restriction to be like, no, I need to know how to use the ingredient. Reflect magic, that's pretty cool. Tin filings. Werewolf's blood. Do you think that after the full moon it just turns into human blood? Because it doesn't seem like it, but you'd think that maybe that would be how it works. Maybe once it's like disconnected from the main body, it doesn't. And you got some fucking expensive soul gems. Holy shit. Petty's not too bad, I guess, 95, but to contain a soul, I guess that's a pretty low price. Welkin stones are more expensive, thankfully, because they were stupid cheap. They were like worthless in the base game. Yeah, you can buy them now. That's because of... I'm pretty sure it's added by the Alien Steps. Yeah, I don't think it would say in this if it was, because it's just a change to the merchant list. But I'm pretty sure it's added by the Alien Steps, which is a quest mod that I'm planning on doing in this Let's Play. And they would add it because you need to use them, like they're consumed in that mod. And there's actually a fixed number of them in this base Oblivion, because they're non-respawning and they don't occur in containers or merchant inventories. Yeah, I guess that's good. I don't know if I should sell these now. He might be the best price we're gonna get, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna sell them.
You got a great deal. That's a fair deal. An excellent bargain.
Okay, we got 550 gold. That's...
Thank you for your business.
Thank you. That's terrible, honestly. It's not a lot of gold, but it'll do for now. I'm full of shit. It won't do for now. Honestly, I and Roderick especially, would fucking love to get a horse before we left Anvil. Just because, I guess, I don't know. I guess I really want to get a horse. And thinking about it from his perspective, where I think he is a bit, looks cool, a bit naive to it. He probably doesn't even really understand how far it is to get to these cities. Maybe he'll realize that now, just for the sake of...
Hello, Guildmate.
I don't know, I mean, it's not that big of a deal to walk across. But I'd rather not.
What else is there?
Especially because of my shitty fucking inventory capacity. 170, because strength is 34. Agility 17. Speed 16. Endurance 19. This guy is not balanced at all. Which I think is a large part thanks to a leveling overhaul called Ultimate Leveling by Mascar. Oh, also using Mascar's Oblivion overhaul. We'll see some things from that later, and I'll point it out. But yeah, if you've played this before, then you have noticed that this. Well, maybe you probably noticed that this looks pretty different. And that's because of two mods. One of them is just called Strand Magic, which just makes it so that all of these like banners and stuff that you see in the Mages Guild and the Arcane University, they actually have like a theme now, because they used to just be random. Like some of them were green and some of them were like faded. Very, very strange decision on the game designer's part. But this mod makes it so that they're like full colorful, same colors as like a motif for the Mages Guild. The eye is much more prominent. And it just actually adds quite a bit, I find, to the aesthetic of the guild.
acting
And
all high and mighty.
who the fuck are you talking
figure
about?
it can't hurt to learn something
And the other mod is called More Magical Mages Guild.
But many enjoy it.
Bye.
Probably.
Good day.
Yeah, More Magical Mages Guilds. And that adds
I
in
don't
all of these sort of
know. I
like
just
these
don't.
vials, these crates of potions, and because the
Well met, guildmate.
because the Anvil Mages Guild is the guild hall like associated with restoration.
Well met,
There's
guildmate.
these little
Ready to
these
go
little
to
recovery rooms,
I've been trying to get through
which
mysterious
I find really
Akavir.
interesting. There might be a little bit of
It's a
overlap
fairly
with the.
interesting read.
Not my favorite work, but many
Oh,
enjoy
I
it.
really wanted to say Chantry there, but
Farewell.
no, with the
What
Church
is
of
it, associate?
DeBella? Church of DeBella? Church, whoever the church is here. Maybe a bit of overlap with that because I imagine the churches serve as sort of like a pseudo hospital in universe. But yeah, it's a really cool addition where it makes some really nice little small additions between the guild halls so that they sort of fit their theme much better. Yeah, we're gonna poke around the Mages Guild. Largely because I'm curious to see what's been added. I've also got time. Okay, it's almost 1. It's almost 1. Yeah. Oh, this is immersive interiors, which is part of it's not part of. It's an add-on that you have to download separately for Weather All Natural, and it just adds so you can see outside the windows. This is pretty cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it at first, but I think I missed it when I wasn't using it. Big reason why I wasn't going to use it is just because of Weather All Natural. Normally, I don't know if you can see this menu right now, but I wasn't going to use. So this is part of Oblivion Reloaded, which is why there's so many cool dynamic shadows and all that, and a lot of the water looks really nice. It's a really large mod. It encompasses a lot of the graphics of the game. I think it was eventually, or at one point, it was the Oblivion graphics extender. But now it's not. But if I turn off the HDR filter for that, it just looks god awful. Like, it looks so bad. Look at this. Oh my god. And for the longest time, I just honestly blamed it on Weather All Natural, because it does add a lot of different light sources to make it look like there's a real lights component, and I think they just weren't tuned very well. But then, if you just enable the HDR filter from Oblivion Reloaded, it actually looks really nice. So that saved that mod for me,
It's a disgrace.
which is fantastic because it adds a lot to the game. My immersion. My immersion. Yeah. If you're curious about like that, there's a little pop-up saying the effects of the ingredients and stuff when I hover over a lot of different things. That's from a mod. I can't remember which one, but it's from, I can't remember the name of it. I'll have it for the next video. But yeah, we're just poking around. Like, see, the carpet matches the theme, which is very nice. I don't think that they've really done too much up here to change it with that More Magical Mages Guilds mod. From what I remember, this is pretty well what it was like upstairs. Oh. Maybe it's a little bit different. Because I think that book is supposed to be on the table. Okay, we're gonna grab that. Oh, okay. We're just gonna put it on the chair. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is changed a little bit because that's from the Alien Steps mod, and it looks like there was a lower table before. We're not gonna look at that right now, mainly because the video is getting long, and I'd like to stop it before an hour. Yeah, I think this is pretty vanilla, I think. We're gonna sleep over here. Honestly, it's literally 1:15 p.m. Was that a clock noise? Oh my god, that's so funny. There's a clock noise when okay. It's when I have a hotkey to show the time. Yeah, we're gonna go to bed, honestly. That was like a long trip. If you think about it, traveling from way the fuck up there all the way down to Anvil, I imagine there's a lot of stops. And it might even be like weeks long if it weren't in a game. Wolf's Head Bach beer? Huh. Cool. But yeah, so we're just gonna go to bed here. Probably gonna sleep like a long fucking time. Okay.